If you are watching this video, that means you are looking into getting some extra help on long division, which is exciting because that's a good skill to have. So when we go through this video, I will be talking through each of these, but get a whiteboard out and follow along. Division can be seen many different ways, but here's one: has a little house with a dividend and a divisor. You would read it 36 divided by 6, or you would see it like a fraction, 36 divided by 6, or the division sign, 36 divided by 6. They're all equivalent. They would get you to the same answer. They just happen to look different. Some people, and I know myself, but there are some people who also like to remind others that division is like doing repeated subtraction. How many times can I take one number, subtract it from another? Now, do I suggest this way to do this? No, especially when you get to larger numbers. Now, in this case, I can subtract 6 how many times from 36? 6, right? Because I can make 6 equal groups of 6. That's one way to think about it. Just like with multiplication being repeated addition, division is like saying repeated subtraction. But again, when you get to larger numbers, that might be kind of tricky. Also, reminder, the answer to a division problem is called a quotient. It is a fun word to say, but you will see that on assessments, on the SBA. They will ask for it that way. So at this point in time, you could either pause the video, go grab a whiteboard, maybe it's on a lined piece of paper, but let's look at our first problem. This is 2,426 divided by 12. Now, I'm not going to waste my time with the 2. Like 12 does not go into 2, but 12 does go into 24. 12 goes into 24 2 times, right? Because 2 multiplied by 12 is 24. And if you see where I put a multiplication sign, the dot, that's just a reminder for myself. So 24 minus 24 is 0, and I bring down the 2. Now, a common mistake would be to go straight to 26. No, you can't do that. You got to still work with the 2. And 12 goes in there 0 times, obviously. You subtract 2 minus 0 is 2. Bring down a 6. And now you have, how many times does 12 go into 26? Well, I knew that 12 can go into 24 2 times without going over. I'm going to use the same answer. So of 2, so 2 multiplied by 12 is 24. 26 minus 24 is 2. So this would be 202, remainder 2, which is a whole lot of 2s. If you notice, I could add, like I just did right there, I could add a decimal and I could keep going and then go into, how many times does 12 go into 20? It goes in there once. Get an 8, bring down a 0. You could do it that way. I could also write this as 202 and 2 12s. That's another way you could write this. Kind of the beauty of math is that we get the same answer. It might look different, but they're all equivalent. Now we're going to look at another question. Again, if you're following along on a whiteboard, this would be a good time. Write the question, then pause. So 8,951 divided by 7. Well, I know 7 can go into 8, right? It goes in there once. I put my reminder sign, I put my multiplication sign as a reminder at the corner. 1 multiplied by 7 is 7. 8 minus 7 is 1. Bring down the 9. 7 goes into 19. Well, I know 3 would be 21. That would be too much. I don't want to go over. So it's going to be 2. 7 multiplied by 2 is 14. I'm going to write that down. If you answered it out loud, kudos. 19 minus 14 is 5, and I bring down the next 5. If you're noticing with my work, I keep drawing arrows. This is to help keep my work organized. 7 into 55. Well, I know if it was 8, it would be 56, so it can't go over. So it's going to be, what do you think? It's going to be 7, because 7 multiplied by 7 is 49. The main thing we want to take away when we're doing this will obviously keep your work organized, but when we're looking for those numbers, we don't want to go over. So 55 minus 49, I could subtract that, or I could add up from 49 to discover it's 6. I bring down the 1. 7 into 61. Well, I know 7 multiplied by 9 would be 63. That'd be too much. And I just talked about how 7 multiplied by 8 is 56. So I'm going to use the 8. 8 multiplied by 7 is 56. 61 minus 56 is 5. And I could write this as a decimal, but instead I'm going to do remainder 5. So while I grab another piece of paper, hopefully you're wiping off your whiteboards, or maybe you're doing it on a piece of paper as well, or working in a class. Remember, try these on your own. This is important. Pause my video and then check your answer. Let's look at another problem. And it will be, how many times can 11, that's going to be our divisor, our driver deciding what number we're dividing, can go into 4,356. Now, I could say this, or I could write it in 2 other ways, as a fraction or using a division symbol. I could say this 4,356 divided by 11, and then I will find a quotient. Quotient being the answer. If I flipped these numbers and I said 11 divided by 4,356, I would get a completely different answer. I put my multiplication symbol in the corner to remind myself. Now, when you write your answer, you don't want that to look like a decimal, so just be aware of that. So, with 11, I'm starting into, how many times does it go into 43? If it was 44, it'd be 4 because 11's, but it will be 3. 43 minus 33 is 10, and I bring down a 5. Now, some people might automatically go, oh, it's 10. Unfortunately, that would be over. And all of our numbers on top, they are going to be 0 through 9. They're not going to be a 10. If we go over when we're subtracting, that's how we know it can go into our larger number more times. So 9 multiplied by 11 is 99. 105 minus 99. I could count up. 100 would be 1. 100 plus 5 would be 105. So 5 plus 1 is 6. Or I could just subtract 105 like I'm doing right now. Minus 99 just seems like a lot of work to do that. But I get an answer of 6. Here's the cool part. I bring down the 6. And I know I have a double-digit number that has the same digit, 66. Because it's 11, I know 11 is 11, 22, 33, 44, 55, 66. And it works out for an answer of 396. I'm going to draw a line, and we're going to look at our next problem, which will have a divisor, so that's the number on the outside that we're dividing by, of 4, and a dividend that's on the inside of the house of the number we're dividing into of 9,543. I would read this 9,543 divided by 4. What's another way we can write this? Okay, if you wrote it as a fraction, you would be correct. Now think of another way we could write this. You could even pause my video right now. Yep, you are correct. We could write that with a division sign or a fraction, just depending on what you chose. But remember, we're attending to precision, so we need to make sure we have the numbers in the right area. So how many times can 4 go into 9? It can go in there twice. 2 multiplied by 4 is 8, and then I subtract. 9 minus 8 is 1. I bring down the 5. How many times can 4 go into 15? Well, 4 would be 16. 3 would be 12. I think that might be it. It'll be 3. 4 multiplied by 3 is 12. 15 minus 12 is 3. I bring down the 4. Now you're on this one. How many times can 4 go into 34? Don't want to go over though. My answer is going to be 8. 9 would be too much. So 8 multiplied by 4 is 32. 34 minus 32 is 2. Good job. We bring down the 3. And I have this 23. 4 goes into 23 how many times? Or I could ask myself, 4 multiplied by what gives me a number close to 23? It's going to be 5 because 6 would be too many. I subtract that out. 23 minus 20 is 3. 2,385, remainder 3. So here's some key details to take away from this video. You really, and I cannot stress this enough, you really want to keep your work organized. If you need graph paper, use it and put a number, put a digit in each square or a number in each square. I draw arrows. That helps me, but you need to keep your work organized. You have to take your time. And one of the standards for mathematical practice, you have to attend to precision. If you do all these things, you'll be successful. Good job, you guys.